incredibly well. You know, it's very funny because the internet is very loud and usually often very wrong. Some will lead you to believe LeBron's not a popular player. Once again, the most watched game in the NBA this year, LeBron James and Steph Curry. Oh, by the way, the most viewed NBA player on social clips, we talked about it last week, LeBron James. The number 2 selling jersey in the NBA last year with all these young stars, LeBron James. The Lakers' road attendance for a pretty mediocre team is number 2, and no, Steph's team isn't number 1. LeBron wasn't in the NBA Cup this year. The ratings absolutely tanked. So like Tom Brady, he's still a top 10 player, no question, and he could play for years. I mean, LeBron right now is averaging 24, 8, and 9. And if he stuck around for 4 or 5 more seasons, I think he'd still be averaging 20. Because his game ages well, because he's a brilliant passer, an excellent ball handler, and has an basketball IQ that is through the roof. He's aged well. But he is the greatest enduring basketball player of my life. But it's always interesting to me, there's so much pushback on LeBron because the internet's loud and wrong. His jersey, the ratings, the NBA Cup without him. Yes, he can be polarizing because he took a stand on politics. And I do admit, I don't watch sports for escapism. I watch it because it's entertainment. I prefer sports over movies. So I've never watched sports for escapism. I do understand that many of you do, and you don't like any politics with your basketball, but I got news for you. Whether it's the Olympics, whether it's the NBA, we've seen it in the NFL, politics seeps into everything. You have an opinion in your office on politics. LeBron briefly did as well.
All right. Well, Colin, you live an amazing life, so you probably don't need to rely on escapism because you can literally go to, like, an exotic island at the drop of a hat, okay, when you want to escape. So, you know, let's put things in context. Your neighbor is literally Taylor Swift. So, you know, most people don't have that luxury. And, you know, the job that they work is brutal and awful and annoying and pays them not enough. So, yeah, being able to turn on sports and watch it and not think about what's going on in the world and just being able to watch sports is pretty important. It's helped me tremendously in my own life. Tremendously in my own life. I rely on sports and these shows, for that matter, to not talk about anything else but just sports. It's a safe space. It's the ultimate safe space for me because I don't got to think about nothing. I don't got to think about my aging parents. I don't got to think about my health. I don't got to think about the 4th surgery or injury that I've had. I don't got to think about a breakup. I don't got to think about my financial, you know, issues and whatnot. My career. I don't got to think about any of that because I'm just watching ball. I'm just watching ball. So, yeah, but that's not the conversation that's supposed to be had right now. It is funny because Colin just said, oh, you know, LeBron James is undeniably a top 10 player when, like, he made a video before saying, I was wrong. LeBron James is aging quickly and he's not a top, you know, the whole thing of like, he can't make a 3 and now he's missing and, you know, what's going on? So I'm like, wait a second. What are we doing here? 1 minute you said he's amazing. The next minute you said I was wrong. He's not aging well. He's not even a top 20 player. And now you're like, he's a top 10 player undeniably. Like, what? And also, this is a straw man right here. No one's arguing that LeBron James isn't wildly popular, and the ones that are, they're maybe a vocal minority. Like, no one actually really believes that. Random haters, but like, that's what we do now. Like, a couple random people in the comment section who say LeBron James is awful, no one likes him. That's when we say, people say this. Like, come on. Anyone within their right mind knows how popular and great LeBron James has been. Whether you want to say he's the GOAT or not is, like, irrelevant. But, like, stop. We know LeBron James is insanely popular. No one actually questions that. Nobody questions that. And like I said, anyone who does is, like, it's obviously, like, random hate, random comments, bots. I mean, who knows? Like, come on. That's crazy. And no, people don't have their issues necessarily because of LeBron and politics. I'm sure that's some factor, but it's not. LeBron James is a wildly popular and successful basketball player and has become, obviously, the face of the NBA. Because of that, no matter what he does, he will have an opposing fan base. That's sports. Was Tom Brady universally loved? No. People hated him. Hated him, hated him, hated him. They tuned in to watch him lose the Super Bowl. They didn't want him, they at all. He now kind of aged gracefully. Now people really like him, but he had plenty of haters. Like, why do we always act like haters is like a unique thing? It is a fundamental aspect to sports. A fundamental aspect. LeBron James wasn't making any comments about politics. When he left Cleveland and went to Miami, they burned his jerseys. When he left Miami and went to Cleveland, they burned his jerseys. Like, this has always just been a part of sports. Now, if you want to say, like, hey, we should evolve past that, that's fine. But that's a different conversation. That's a different conversation. People hated Steph Curry. Especially, it wasn't until he won his finals in 22 where they said, oh, he got carried. He couldn't win without KD. People hate Shaq. People hate Barkley. People hate Embiid. People hate Jokic. People hate everyone. Are you kidding me? Every video that I make, whether it's football or basketball or whatever, it is always, like, depending on what I'm saying. If I'm saying, let's say I make a video that I'm really positive about LeBron James. Let's just obviously use LeBron James. LeBron James is the best. He's a top basketball player in the NBA. The Lakers have a true chance at making the finals. This is really exciting. Now that they got this player and that player, I think they can really make a run. I make a video like that. I post it. About 90% of the Lakers fans are going to be like, yeah, absolutely. LeBron is awesome, man. He's the MVP this season. This is great. The Lakers are the number 1 seed. I don't know. Yeah, let's do it. And then you're going to have another 10% where people are going to be like, LeBron's a bum. He can't play. This is trash. Yeah, he can play in the regular season, but let's see what he does in the playoffs. Like, that's just how it goes. And if I say the opposite, LeBron James is trash. He's not good. The Lakers have zero chance at making to the finals this year. They're not even going to be able to get out of round 1. Lakers fans will jump in. They'll say, "I'm a moron. I'm a clown. I have no idea what I'm talking about." And some of the other people that believe in me will say, "Yeah, man, you're so right. People, LeBron stans are obsessed with him. They think he can do anything." Like, it's always that back and forth. Always that back and forth. Like, that is just sports talk. That's just how it goes. I could say the most obvious point ever. I could just say 1 + 1 = 2. And there will still be a percentage of people who are like, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. And not only are you wrong, but you should never make a video ever again for the rest of your life. It's like, whoa, okay. Yikes. I do think LeBron could play for another 5 to 7 years. The question is, will he want to? I think it probably depends on what his sons do. If his sons are still around, if they're actually playing, if there's actually a viable option for them, I think he could. I think also longevity is part of his brand, like it was for Tom Brady. And so, I think that's part of it as well. I think also if he just kind of keeps playing, even if he kind of plays like modest minutes, he still also just keeps adding to his totals, which I think also matters to him, and understandably so, because if he does just play the longest, then it really will become like almost impossible. You would need another player to be able to play as long as LeBron to kind of break some of his records, which I think one day would happen, because I think in the year 20, 100, 2100, whatever, like, yeah, we'll have players playing like high level ball until they're like 45, 50. I mean, honestly, who really knows? Or we will have a player who plays for like 20 years and just, is just blessed by the basketball gods and never gets injured. Never gets injured. Not a single injury. He's just an absolute genetic freak. So, yeah, I mean, I think LeBron will want to keep playing. It all depends on, will LeBron be okay playing, being on a team with a diminished role? Will he be okay playing 20 minutes a game or, one of those types of situations? Getting 10 points. 5 assists, 5 rebounds, which again is still great, still necessary, still important. Will he be okay with that? Will he be okay leading the second unit? Like, there's all these questions. Will he become too much of a liability on defense though? Like, it's interesting. Will his body just break down? He thinks he can play for another 5-7 years. That's based on how he feels right now. But 3 years from now, his body is going to feel different in ways that LeBron James can't even anticipate. Seriously, in 5 years from now, 3 years from now, for all we know, his eyesight starts to like really start to go down. I mean, that's what happens once you hit like 40, 45. Like, yeah, like things start happening. And you're like, well, this isn't how my body looked like before. I really need glasses now. Yeah, my eyesight was clearly not as good as it was when I was 18, but like, it's like now really not like it was. Like, oh, what is going on? You reach a certain point when you start to go to doctors, and the doctors are going, yeah, you're getting older. You're like, yeah, but it wasn't like this before. And you're like, yeah, well, it is now. So it's impossible to predict. Even LeBron James can't predict it, no matter how much he knows his body and all of that. No matter what science and genetics he has, it's impossible to predict. It really, really is. But it's fun to watch him try, because that's also part of this process, to kind of be like, hey, how far can this go? How long can this go? How high can this go? And that's what we're always watching sports, right? How fast can this player run? How many points can this player make? How high can they jump? How strong are they? How many times can they win? Like, you're trying to see the limits. And that's what LeBron continues to show us, and it's going to continue to be exciting, no matter what it looks like, quite frankly. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about LeBron James? Do you think he can legitimately play for another 5 to 7 years? And do you think he's going to end his career with the Lakers? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.